Welcome to the English for Academic Purpose series. In this series of videos, skills and tips for tests such as the TOEFL, the IELTS, the ACT, and the SAT will be discussed. I'm your host, Michael Wu. Today's topic is questions of inferences. The inference questions are known as one of the basic four reading comprehension question types, and they're so commonly and frequently tested that we have to know their looks and the way to solve them in all standardized tests. Let's learn how to answer this type of questions with some examples. The example reads, Rhode Island is the smallest state of the Union. It was the last of the 13 original ones to become a state, and its capital is Providence. It borders Connecticut and Massachusetts, which were also original colonies. The first step towards the answer is to read the question and answer choices carefully. Having all the answer choices and the contents of them at heart, it would be easier for all of us to approach those sentences that contain the needed information to locate the final answer. The options go: Rhode Island is to the east of Connecticut and to the west of Massachusetts. B goes, Connecticut became a state before Rhode Island did. C goes, Massachusetts is a smaller state than Connecticut, while D says Providence was the capital of Rhode Island before Rhode Island became a state. The second step towards the answer is to go back to the passage and carefully check the answers, all the information needed for the answer. However, since we have read the passage in the beginning of this video, we will just dive into those options and compare them with the information in the passage. Alright, let's have a look at option A. It says Rhode Island is to the east of Connecticut and to the west of Massachusetts. This has a lot to do with location and the two other states, their names. When we take a look at the last sentence in the paragraph, we will see that it borders, it says right here that the reference is definitely Rhode Island. It says it borders Connecticut and Massachusetts, which were also original colonies. This one is about the location, but it doesn't actually provide specific information about the directions, like to the east or to the west. That's why we should take this one away. Option B reads, Connecticut became a state before Rhode Island did. There's a time sequence suggested in the option. And the one that has something to do with time is the second sentence in the paragraph, which reads, it was the last of the 13 original colonies to become the state. This sentence helps us eliminate this option because Connecticut had no chance to become a state before Rhode Island did, since the passage has read as Rhode Island was the very last one of the 13 original colonies to become a state. Option C reads, Massachusetts is a smaller state than Connecticut. This one has something to do with the size, and when we have a look at the very first sentence, it says Rhode Island is the smallest, but it doesn't mention anything having to do with the size difference of other states, not those mentioned in the paragraph, like Connecticut and Massachusetts, so this one can go as well. Option D says Providence was the capital of Rhode Island before Rhode Island became a state. Providence as the capital of Rhode Island, the fact was actually mentioned, but it didn't specify any sequence like when it was established and was established before Rhode Island had officially turned into a state. So this one, as well can go. Looks like we have finished all the work needed under step 3, just to check those facts one by one. But during practice, I still recommend my students to take a look at those facts if they can write down simple notes, to help them think and work on the logic behind the design of those questions. They'll be really great for their progress in reading comprehension and, of course, their tips to solve the inference questions. And before we wrap up this video, I'll remind my students not to forget to circle up the correct answer, because when you're in a math during the real test, well, it's really easy for anyone who hasn't been really experienced with the test to miss or lose some detail. So make sure you circle up And if you were in an IELTS test, well, make sure you write a circle answer to your answer sheet. That's rather important. And this is the end of the video.